Do androids dream of electric sheep? It's a wild question, right? Well, today in this explainer, we are diving headfirst into the hypnotic, terrifying, and honestly, deeply philosophical world of Philip K. Dick's legendary novel To Find Out. I want you to picture this, a totally radioactive wasteland. It's a world with a few surviving humans are absolutely obsessed with owning fake electronic animals. I mean, why on earth would they do that? Seriously, ask yourself, if you owned an electric sheep, would you actually love it? That's the bizarre, incredibly thought-provoking reality we're unpacking today. To really wrap our heads around this masterpiece, we're going to map out 5 main pillars today: the radioactive Earth, the tyranny of Kipple, the religion of empathy, hunting the Nexus-6, and finally, what actually makes us human.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the radioactive Earth and the fallout of World War Terminus.
So here's the setup. Years ago, this massive conflict called World War Terminus ended. But get this, no one even remembers who won. All that was left was this mysterious, highly variable radioactive dust that slowly killed off the planet. First, the wildlife died out. Think of the fat, fluffy white owls just gone. Months turned into years, and the dust grew so incredibly thick that the sun literally ceased to shine, forcing massive off-world colonization. Fast forward to 1990, and the variety of android subtypes they were using out in space basically passed all human understanding. And that brings us to a pretty dark bargain. By definition, an android in this world is a highly advanced, organic, humanoid robot serving as a mobile donkey engine. But really, it was the ultimate incentive. The UN basically offered up a shiny new android servant as the carrot to escape the radioactive stick. They made it super easy to emigrate and biologically dangerous to stay behind. But what about the folks who couldn't leave? That takes us to Section 2, the tyranny of Kipple, and the rule of entropy. For the people left behind on Earth, often called specials, every single day is a battle against a terrifying force called Kipple. Now, Kipple is this universal principle moving everything toward entropic ruin. It's the inevitable, unstoppable buildup of useless junk. We're talking match folders, gum wrappers, garbage. It literally takes over and decays a space the exact moment humans leave it behind. There's a survivor on Earth named John Isidore, and he realizes this crushing truth. He says, the entire universe is moving toward a final state of total, absolute Kippleization. Basically, eventually, everything is going to merge into this faceless, pudding-like ruin. It's a really haunting reflection on our own mortality, if you think about it. So, how do humans fight back against all this overwhelming rot? Well, let's look at Section 3, the religion of empathy, also known as Mercerism. Through this theology, humanity decides that its absolute greatest survival tool is empathy. The core ideas are pretty fascinating. Shared joy includes a fragment of joy for all, and shared suffering casts a shadow on all. You essentially acquire a higher survival factor by acting like a herd animal and feeling what others feel. There's just one golden rule. You shall kill only the killers. And all of this is physically facilitated by gripping a device called the empathy box, which literally fuses human minds together. But Isidore starts suspecting that there's a psychic war happening right inside his living room. On one side, you have the spiritual fusion and unity of the empathy box, and on the other, the cynical, non-stop, 24/7 broadcasting of Buster-friendly TV. It's an all-out battle for the minds of the survivors. Quiet, deep connection versus loud, mocking media dominance. Moving on to Section 4, hunting the Nexus-6, and the infamous Voigt-Kampff test. This is where our core conflict kicks in. Bounty hunter Rick Deckard is assigned to retire highly advanced illegal androids hiding out on Earth. But how do you even spot a machine that looks exactly like a human? You use the Voigt-Kampff scale. This is an analytical tool used to determine if someone is an android by measuring a flattening of affect or, quite simply, a total lack of empathy. It's basically the ultimate lie detector for the human soul. And right here is Deckard's whole justification for what he does. A human is capable of empathy for the suffering of others, but a Nexus-6 android, they're seen as a solitary predator lacking any empathic role-taking ability. So in Deckard's mind, retiring them isn't murder at all. It's just destroying a dangerous, unfeeling machine. But as Deckard actually tracks down these targets, the absolute certainty of his mission completely unravels. Let's look at Section 5, what makes us human, and the blurred lines between man and machine. It gets to a point where Deckard makes this absolutely devastating confession to his wife. He says, "I've begun to empathize with androids, and look what that means." Think about that for a second. A bounty hunter whose entire job relies on his targets lacking empathy is now feeling empathy for them. You see, Deckard go through this really painful psychological evolution in 3 steps. Step 1. He starts out viewing androids simply as chitinous reflex machines. Step 2. He actually experiences the androids imitating human thoughts, impulses, and even appreciating art. And step 3, he realizes the massive, crushing psychological toll of the hunt. Watching a machine fight for its survival hopelessly blurs the line of what it even means to be alive. And then, to make matters so much worse, Buster Friendly gets on TV and broadcasts a shocking claim. Mercerism is a swindle. He exposes the entire religion of empathy as a total fabrication. This is huge because it threatens to destroy the very concept of empathy that supposedly makes humanity special and superior to the androids they're hunting. So, looking back over our 5 pillars today, the radioactive Earth, the tyranny of Kipple, the religion of empathy, hunting the Nexus-6, and what makes us human, we can see how Dick uses a dying Earth, sheer entropy, and artificial life to force us to examine our own souls. I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Deckard realizes that if you think too much about what you're doing, you just can't go on. So, in our own rapidly advancing digital age, is our empathy our salvation, or is it actually our greatest vulnerability? Really think about that. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.